Hi, this is Kevin Trainer. Welcome to my tutorial on how to create a project scope statement and a work breakdown structure, which are the two waterfall oriented scope documents that we are creating in my project management course. Now, I'm recording this in the fall of 2023, and I think I'll be teaching this again reasonably soon. So you may be in a subsequent semester, but I'm just creating a lot of this content for the first time in the current semester. Um, The text that we're using is by Kathy Schwalbe, An Introduction to Project Management 7th edition, which is a book I really like. And in it, in chapter 4, she talks about planning projects, in which she's talking about things to manage the scope. She talks about a project scope statement, and she talks about a work breakdown structure, a WBS. And the example that she gives on page 137 of an example WBS is a WBS for a project to create a birthday cake. And I kind of like that idea. So I created a project to create a birthday cake for me. It's called the Kevin's Birthday Cake Project. And I created a scope statement for it, and I created a WBS. It's not the same as the birthday cake in the book, but it's inspired by it. Okay. And it's a small project, and it's not an IT related project, but it's a chance to demonstrate a lot of important things without using up a lot of time. Okay, so let's take a look at the scope statement for Kevin's birthday cake. Okay, so here we go. Here's the document. Okay. It was created with a word processing template. It was a Microsoft Word template created by Kathy Schwalbe. And in the weekly schedule, you'll find a link. Uh, Schwalbe provided MS Word a template for a scope statement. So you ought to be able to download that and use this to create your scope statement when the time comes. Okay? Okay, but let's get back to the scope statement for the birthday cake. Okay, so uh, scope statement version 1.0. We're going to do version control on this. So this is the first one that I've created. Project titled Kevin's Birthday Cake. Um, I'm always a little bit ambivalent about whether the project title should be Kevin's Birthday Cake Project or Kevin's Birthday Cake. And I think I use it two different ways. Today is September the 15th. My birthday isn't until April 1st, 2024, but it's the date of the document, not the date of my birthday, and I prepared this. So the sections that she has in the document, I think, are pretty typical. She's got project justification, product characteristics and requirements, product user acceptance criteria, summary of project deliverables that include project management related deliverables, usually documents and meetings and such, and product related deliverables, usually the parts of the product itself. Okay? So I made up a scenario here, and let's see the justification. The birthday cake project is being funded by Kevin's wife, Brooke. She will pay for the cake by credit card, and the bakery will deliver it to the iSchool help desk for the celebration. There's a tradition of sharing celebration cakes with people at the iSchool by making the cakes available at the help desk. I don't know how much we do that anymore, but certainly 15 years ago we were doing it, and we were doing it 10 years ago, and we were doing it 5 years ago, and maybe we still do it now. If not, well, I guess my plan is to bring that back. No further need for justification is anticipated because we're not going to be asking the school for money, and it's within normal practice. Okay. Product characteristics and requirements. So I've listed five. One, this should be a premium cake produced by a well-regarded Champaign-Urbana area bakery. Two, the cake should yield 50 to 75 servings. I wanted to be generous. I guess I could have made it a bigger, but I think that would have led to a lot of leftovers. Three, it should be a 4-layer pound cake. I was thinking like a really classy pound cake kind of thing you get at a wedding, with 2 chocolate layers and 2 vanilla layers alternating. I haven't been clear about whether the chocolate should be on the bottom, or the top, but that's as specific as I want to get. 4, the cake should be frosted with vanilla buttercream icing. I kind of have a weakness for that. And 5, layers should be separated by a filling of fresh strawberries and custard combined. So strawberries and a custard, not a layer of strawberries and a layer of custard, right? Product user acceptance criteria. The bakery will provide a written order/invoice that reflects these specifications as well as the agreed to date and time for delivery. This order invoice will be approved by Brooke Trainer, that's my wife, at least 1 week before the delivery date. She's sort of responsible for buying a lot of things at our house, so she'd be the natural person even if we were doing this here. The supervisor at the help desk will inspect the cake upon delivery for compliance with the order invoice as approved. So I'm not going to be there. Maybe I'll be teaching that day. Brooke's not going to come down. She has a day job. Okay, so we're expecting someone from the help desk to help us. It's the help desk after all. Summary of project deliverables. So project management related deliverables. This scope statement to be signed as approved by Brooke Trainer and the supervisor of the help desk. So the people who are taking responsibility for things should sign off on this. And 2, the order invoice to be produced by the bakery and approved by Brooke Trainer at least 1 week before the delivery date. And then the product-related deliverables, 1 finished cake delivered to the iSchool help desk in good condition. Okay? And this is very deliverable oriented. Okay? We haven't really said a whole lot about how they're going to bake the cake, right? But we have provided a lot of details here, and for a cake, for a birthday celebration at the iSchool, I think this is a pretty good document. There's another document in the chapter that you're going to want to look at that's more kind of IT project related, and for the scope statement, and that's the one that she has on page 131 for the just in, no, that's the requirements management plan. I'm sorry. The scope statement for the just-in-time training project is on page 135. And again, that's more of an IT related project, but between the template and the two examples, I think you should do fine. Okay? Okay, so let's take a look at the WBS then. Okay? So let's go back to this weekly schedule from the current semester, and we have a scope statement. And the WBS can be done in 3 different presentations, and the instructions for this assignment note that, so you're going to choose one. I'm only demonstrated 2 of them here because the third one is kind of fiddly diagramming that I don't prefer, but it might be something that you prefer, and I'll talk about it before I'm done. So the first one is I'm using an MS Word template that we got from Schwalbe, and that's down here. Schwalbe provided an MS Word template for WBS. Okay, so you can download this and you can create one of your own. So let's see what that oh, looks like I linked the wrong document here. Is this the is this the Word WBS? Ah, here it is. Okay. So the WBS is an expression of scope. Okay. And I've mentioned in lectures, and Schwalbe mentions in her text, that some people believed for a while, although it's gone out of fashion, that a WBS is a statement of the scope plus it might be the beginning of the schedule because we might have a bunch of tasks in it. And the current thinking about the WBS is it doesn't include tasks, okay? It is an expression of the scope, okay? It's the things we're going to deliver in a output-oriented, deliverable-oriented way, okay? And that the WBS might be used later as an organization scheme for the tasks in the schedule, but that doesn't mean that the tasks are part of the WBS. Because there are a lot of tools in which you can do both, a lot of people still get kind of confused into the idea that the tasks are part of the WBS, and they're not. Okay? Okay, so here's what we have. The project name is Kevin's Birthday Cake, and the high-level deliverables. So if you express this as a hierarchy diagram, okay, they often refer to the top level, which has a single rectangle. They refer to that as level 1. And then they refer to the next level as level 2, okay? So what's level 1 on this, sort of indented numbered list version on it? It's just the name of the project. Okay, so there's no part of the list, the indented number list, that corresponds to the level 1 top box on a hierarchy diagram. What is the equivalent of that is just the name of the project. And again, is this called Kevin's Birthday Cake or Kevin's Birthday Cake Project? You decide. Okay. So the things that are on level 1 are the cake, okay, the frosting, fillings, and a greeting. Okay. you'll notice that the cake is described on the scope statement. Okay, the frosting is, the fillings are. The greeting isn't really talked about on the scope statement. It's only in the last couple of minutes when I'm reading through these that I think that's an improvement opportunities for the scope statement. Now, because these are different documents, one of them might include a detail that's not on the other. That's probably okay. The more you can make them agree, the better. And they should not be contradicting each other. So they're expressions of the same information from different perspectives. Okay? And regardless of the perspective, there should not be contradictions. Okay? So this wasn't addressed in the scope statement. Perhaps it should be. We're going to have to decide before we sign off on everything, but I don't think we have any contradictions. Okay? Okay, so then the cake, this was level 2, the level 1 equivalent being just the name of the project. Level 3 shows the layers. So there are 4 layers to the cake, called layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, layer 4. Okay, and I took inspiration from the approach in the Schwabe text. I put the ingredients that would go into that layer. Okay, now you'll notice I don't have any tests in here about how we're going to combine the ingredients. That might get into a project plan for making Kevin's birthday cake, but that doesn't belong in the WBS proper. Okay, so we've got, instead of just saying a cake flour like the one in the text, I'm a big fan of King Arthur cake flour. I think it just said flour. So I'm a big fan of King Arthur cake flour, so I'm going to specify that. Eggs, butter, instead of oil, I want a butter because this is kind of a pound cake. Baking powder, and I've got cocoa powder here because I want some of the layers to be chocolate. So all 4 of these are the same except that in alternating, the chocolate layers include cocoa powder and the vanilla include vanilla, okay? And again, this is a different expression of the information that's in the scope statement, but it's consistent, okay? And again, the scope statement doesn't say King Arthur cake flour either, but it does say butter, I think. Okay? Uh, um, yeah. Okay. So then frosting, powdered sugar, butter, vanilla. These are the ingredients for a vanilla buttercream frosting. So again, it's a different expression of the same information that's in the scope statement. Fillings, strawberries, custard. Now, when I was writing the scope statement, I said strawberries and custard combined. Okay. Maybe this is an opportunity to improve this. Perhaps we don't want them to think that we want strawberries in one layer and custard in another layer, that we want them combined. So maybe this is just 3.1 strawberries and custard combined. Okay. This is an opportunity for us to review with the stakeholders and figure out what we want to say. And then the greeting, the message is happy birthday, Kevin, and the script, the icing that the script is written in is bright blue because I like blue. Okay. So what I wanted to give you here is without getting hung up in the details of an IT project, I wanted to give you the idea that these are two expressions of the same thing. One might have details that the other does not, and that's okay, but they should not be contradicting each other. Okay, and if you want to do one like this, these are pretty easy to produce just with that word processing file that you're able to download. Okay, what if you wanted to use a mind mapping tool? Okay, I like them. Okay, and so I made a mind map version for us. So that's the link. Kevin's birthday cake mind map WBS. And so we'll click on this. Okay. And I have a link to the tool that we use to create this in the instructions. It's called GetMind. It's a it's a free tool, and it's the most recent mind mapping tool that I've used. Not really because I think it's the best, but at the time I chose it a couple of summers ago for some courseware I was doing, and it was the best free tool that I could find. And it still seems to be working, and I still seem to have a free license, and I seem happy enough, right? And so what I've got here, um, you can kind of export these things, right? To print them, you use export. I'll show you the tool in a minute. But here, mind mapping tools often work horizontally rather than vertically, like those hierarchy diagrams. Although some of the mind mapping tools, you can ask them to create a hierarchy diagram, and they'll draw this kind of going down from the main topic. Okay. So you can maybe use this tool or a tool like it to create a classic hierarchy diagram. Um, you often see diagrams with things breaking out on both sides of the main topic, and that's okay too. But what I did is so the equivalent of level one is this main topic. Okay, typically in these mind maps, these things are called topics. So we have the main topic is Kevin's birthday cake, and then that would be like the level one topic. Then the level two are just like the text version we saw there, cake and frosting and fillings and greeting. Okay, and then for the cake, we have layer one, layer two, layer three, layer four, and then the detail underneath the layers breaks out each of these. And mind mapping tools typically have different kind of formats or skins that you're able to use. Um, and this one is, I think, the newest uh, default template. Okay, and I kind of like the way it looks. All right, it's not bad. And then the content here is exactly the same as we had in the text version that we created with Microsoft Word. And then let's just take a look at this tool that I use for this. I kind of like this because it's a simple tool, right? So you have to sign up for a free account, and then you can log in, and it looks like it logged me out. So I just use my email at Illinois, and then I've got a password that's down here in my password manager. Um, get mind. Let me get that. Okay, and it looks like I'm properly logged in now. And there are all kinds of templates, and as you can see, you can change the way they look. Okay, and I think I just took the newest version of the default, and I think my mind is maybe uh, my documents. Yeah, get my new version released. So back in June, they came up with a new version, and that's probably the version that we just saw. And I've got a bunch of these. I've got some courseware that I created for uh, probably for my systems analysis course. And I've got Kevin's birthday cake. So let's click on that. And it opens it up, and you can see uh, that that's what we have here. And when these things get too deep, they typically, when you hover over them, there's like a minus sign where you can collapse trees, right? Or you might not want to collapse it there. You might want to show the layers, but collapse the detail for the layers. Okay, and that works pretty well. Okay, and that might be uh, a little bit easier, right? And I really like these kind of tools. And again, this is probably the fifth or sixth mind mapping tool that I've used, and I've liked them all. You know, I think you spend more time on thinking and less time on drawing. And I think they're particularly good when you want to use this to have some kind of a workshop with stakeholders where you want to brainstorm together. And it's usually easy enough to diagram out everything you're talking about, and then when you're done, you can save it, and you can create a printed document, or more likely a PDF, and you can share it with all the participants, right? So I really like that. So how did I create this? Well, I'll kind of show you the basics of how I did that. So um, let's see if we can go back. So if we go back to home, okay, and then I've got new map. I think that's where I started. So I started with new map, and it gave me the main topic. Okay, and I just created Kevin's birthday cake. Okay, I did that. And to get other nodes, as they call them, you highlight, you click on, and make active the node that you want to connect to, and then you go up to this kind of toolbar, and you pick the scenario that you're in. So here we want a subnode, right? So we click on that, and you get this topic branch one, and then you can type in cake. Okay, and then you can come back here and select this, and you can do another one, and uh, I forget what all the things were. Cake, then frosting, right? And then uh, if you're on this and you want one below it, you can come up here and pick this scenario here. Okay, so you could do it either way. And then after frosting, we've got fillings. Okay, and then again, I could do this scenario here, and after fillings, I've got grading. Yep. And just to show you what I did here, then I had layers, right? So I went from this, I did one of these, and I did layer one. Okay. And what you can do some copying. So I came here and I went to layer one and I said I wanted to have, and what do I have up for layer one? I've got King Arthur cake flour. Cake flour. And then that's still highlighted, so I can go to the one under it, or can I? Oh, it's still not truly highlighted. So you had to, I had to click off of it. Now I can do that. And then I've got eggs, right? And then I can do this, and then I've got butter, and then I've got baking powder, and then I decided I was going to have cocoa powder. Okay. So, what I really want to do is I want to copy this whole thing. Okay. So I can highlight this and right click and say I want to copy. And then I can come back here and I think I can just say paste. Let's try paste. Paste and then preserve formatting. And there it is right there. Okay. So this isn't really layer one. This is layer two. You have to double click on this to get editing. So layer two, and then we don't really want cocoa powder in layer two. We want vanilla. Okay, and again we can copy paste this to make layer three. We can copy and paste that to make layer four, and we can go through it. So then, how do you turn this into a PDF so you can share it or hand it in? Well, you can go up to this export, okay? And if you have a free version, you have to just use this export thing here. And I just said I wanted a PDF, okay? And I exported it. And do I want to allow downloads? Yes. And in my downloads, I got Kevin's birthday cake.pdf. And I double click on that, and I get this beautiful thing here. Okay? So that might have looked a little different than the formatting that I got on the other one. And can I explain why I got one kind of formatting on one and the other? No, I'd have to work on it a while. I can tell you that either format is fine with me when you hand it in. Okay. And you know, the kind of formatting that you get with these mind mapping tools, it's a little different on each tool, but they all give the, you know, they all have the kind of features that we're looking for. So you can either use GitMind if you like it, or you can use something else if you want to use another tool. But I've given you a lot of latitude here, and what we're going to be looking at is the content. Okay, so that's all the tutorial I have. I'm going to say bye until next time. Bye-bye.